All right, today is Friday the 13th. Dum dum dum. And supposedly a full moon.
It is.
So your friend again. No, your friend again talks about vertical angles. And they're like, you know what? It's like that super nerdy friend on the bus that's always like trying to tell you interesting facts. He says, you know, vertical angles, they can be acute, right, or obtuse. Now, what does it mean for an angle to be acute? Huh?
To be acute means to be less than 90, to be right means 90, and obtuse is more than 90.
I only wanted one answer, but thank you for being so concise. I was going to involve other people. So, let's make examples. If you think they're true, make examples that show that they are true. If you think they're false, make a counter example, something that shows that they are wrong.
Are we drawing these?
Yep, draw these out on your paper right now.
He's that one genius friend. Has he been involved yet?
He's wrong occasionally. Your friend. The omnipotent, like, unknown friend that we always reference. Johnny, yeah.
Friend, but they're so close that you
So-
cannot
Can anybody come and draw an example of vertical right angles? Coming up, Jeremiah.
Is there a possible way to make just like perfectly straight lines?
Not in this. If we were in Smart, like, notebook, you could.
That is the most perfect right angle I've ever seen.
That's a really good right angle, actually. So the angles that he's notated with the boxes, we could say like angle 1 and angle 2 or whatever. So these angles, are they right?
Yeah.
Are they vertical?
Yeah.
Who can remind me what it takes to be vertical? Sean?
Intersecting lines
Two intersecting straight lines,
are opposite from each other.
and the angles have to be opposite. And if it's intersecting straight lines, this happens naturally, but they have to share that vertex. So it happens naturally from the intersecting lines, but that's another thing that has to happen. Can anybody, big challenge, draw one picture that shows both? Ozzy? Acute and obtuse vertical angle pairs.
I think I can do it.
If you can't, I'm calling on Elena.
I know how to do that.
Chill.
Can I do it on here?
Yeah, do it on your paper. If you haven't done it yet, do it on your paper.
What's that?
Are those straight lines intersecting?
No.
Those lines don't stay straight. Elena, give it a shot. Easy's relative. Get that word out of your vocab.
Isn't it like...
Can we keep simple in our vocab?
I will. Okay. The one change I'm going to make is I'm going to change colors.
That's how
So, she showed acutes as this angle pair here. And then she showed the obtuse with these angle pairs here. If you have a vertical pair that has acute angles, you'll also, if you only have two straight lines, you'll also, at the same time, make a vertical pair of obtuse angles. Because, what do we know about the green angle and the black angle together? Yeah, Sean? They have to add up to 180. So if one is acute, the other has to be obtuse. If one is 90, the other has to be 90. Any questions on those? This is more 8th grade work, but just to show you guys how awesome this is and like the cool things that we can do with this, if S and S prime. If S and S prime, line S and S prime, the apostrophe we mathematically call a prime because that means it is like S, but it's been moved or changed or something has happened. They are parallel with each other. So please notate S parallel S prime. This is how we notate that. S is parallel to S prime. Can you see an angle that would be the same as the 70 degrees? Andrew? Angle A, because it's vertical, would be the 70 also. So then knowing that, Julian, can we figure out anything else? Angle F would be 110. And angle B is 110. Now imagine this for a second. Give me your eyes.
I'm giving them to you.
If that line, chill, is parallel to S prime, and this line is straight through both of them, the relationships that are happening up here
Also happening.
are the exact same as what happens down here. So this would be 70, this would be 70, this would be 110, and this would be 110. Parallel lines create beautiful relationships. Think of this as your train tracks and the road that goes across it. Whatever's happening up here is happening down here. Whatever's happening over there is happening over there. Whatever's on the inside alternate each other is equal to each other because of these relationships. There is so much geometry in the world around you that you don't even realize yet. There is geometry, kind of geometry, kind of algebra involved in how plants grow. We're going to watch some documentaries as we get further into the year. There's a Fibonacci sequence that starts with the number 1, and then we'll get on to the next lesson. And then I always add the 2 previous numbers. So then I get 3, then I get 5, then I get 8, then I get 13. There are plants that as you look at their petals, do exactly this. This perfect mathematic sequence. If you look at a pine cone and you go diagonally down, it's like the leaf little things that stick out. Top has 1. Next one has 1. Then it has 2. Then it has 3. Then it has 5. It's crazy. So understand there's tons of relationships that we're going to be talking about, especially as we get deeper into geometry, that are pretty mind-blowing. Yeah.
What relationship is the 1, 2, 3, 5?
Search up Fibonacci sequence or Fibonacci series in nature. Fibon. I think it's ICHI. Fibonacci, or maybe NACHI.
It's written there. FIBONACCI.
I thought he had 2 B's, but I could be wrong. So this was a Math 2 thing that we did at the end of the year. They showed the Fibonacci spiral that you can see geometrically. It happens in crustaceans, it happens in weather systems, it happens in sunflowers, it happens in Donald Trump's hair. Yeah. In that image, they perfectly matched a Fibonacci spiral to Donald Trump's head.
That really surprising.
No. So, I have 4 big dogs at home. If you haven't, like, this is real. You don't know this yet. So, flip to 10-6. So, in my backyard, my dogs like to dig, which I've kind of given up. Whatever, my backyard is just disaster area, but that's fine. Because my dogs are happy. So we have our patio door. And now this is not quite like my house, I'll tell you. I'm not being 100% honest here. But let's say my house was flat on the back with a window over here, and the door in the middle. And I look out and I see that I've got Marley burying a bone over here, and I got Sebastian burying a bone over here. And, you know, because I'm a nerd, I start to think to myself, I wonder what the angle difference between those is.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I think a lot of nerdy statements, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. what do we know about the back edge of my house? Sam? It's flat, so it will measure 180 degrees.
It's shape. Sometimes when the sun's getting on the other side.
So then I look at just this section. What would I know about that section? Whitney? How do I know that?
Because on the other side.
Yeah.
If this is 90, then it's, what would I call this green angle compared to this other green angle? They are what relationship with each other? It's
Supplementary.
They are
Supplementary.
supplementary. So,
Take supplements.
what we would say is this angle is the supplement to the right angle. So it is the supplement. When they are supplementary to each other, it is the supplement to the right angle. So we know that this is 90. So then, to figure out my red angle, all we would have to do,
90 minus 53.
do the difference, and we get,
37.
that looks really bad. So I was trying to write it really slow. What is the name of that angle, Anish? How do I notate?
That's a cute angle.
Yeah, it's a cute. I could also say it's 2p1 or however. These don't really have point notations. So if I made these points, then I could notate it during doing 3-point notation. Or I could give it a name. So I could say like angle like 1. I could literally like just name it angle 1. So we would say the measure of angle 1 is 37, and make sure you have your degree symbol. Now, if you've ever, and now like, I hope that as we go through the rest of the year, you leave school and then you're starting to notice more and more mathematical relationships out in the world. What does this look like? Sean? Nope. Something that you should see in the outside world. Ellie?
I think of it as like one of those street signs. Like,
Yeah, what kind of street sign?
A railroad stop sign.
I don't know what it's called. Not stop sign because
A you not enter sign.
Yes.
Railroad.
Like a
Yeah. Railroad. Call on Sam before she dies. Railroad.
People have already said it out loud.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
Sorry, not maps.
Sam's one.
Crap, I wanted images.
Legit.
Check it out. Every railroad crossing sign that is the circular kind has an X. It's like a caution sign. Now, other ones are just two flat signs that are crossed. Either way, that creates a special angle relationship. So, I want you to think through, and you can like compare with a partner and see if you guys agree. Each of these, are they true or false? And always, if you get done with this section, you can move on to the got it if you want. I'm going to give you like 2 or 3 minutes to work on this. And actually, guys, if you see other things that deal with what we've talked about in math, please take pictures and email them to me. I would love to share examples of what you've seen out in the real world. So, number A is what people always are like, wait, what? No, I mean, you can say number A. When you're bullet pointing, like,
How does that even work?
I mean, it's not a number, but you're listing things. So I mean, I could say point A or question A, but I mean, yeah, it's not technically 100% correct, but people do. So, I have angles 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I also have this angle or this angle, or this angle, or that angle. So we have more than 4 angles here. Because guys, I don't know why people keep either talking over me or making noises, but I sure don't feel like I'm in a middle school right now. When we have angles that share a vertex, we can combine smaller angles to make bigger angles. We can also take bigger angles and cut them up to make smaller angles. So that's why it's referencing 8 angles. Measure 180 or less. Guys, I doubt that you're the culprits, but when you use my stuff, try to put it back in a somewhat orderly fashion. I find myself cleaning up this table often right now. Oh, it's fantastic. Like I said at the beginning, even though today's Friday the 13th, my shoes should be there when I get home. I already am planning to go climbing with friends tomorrow. My wife is I'm not really superstitious. My wife is babysitting tonight, so I get to do work, get stuff done. Which I'm a very restless person. I can't sit and do nothing. So not what?
You can't watch TV?
I normally multitask. So if I'm watching TV, I'm grading papers, or I have my laptop up emailing or whatever, doing stuff. Now that's the difference, but it depends on if I'm focused on if I'm watching Sherlock, I'm probably not getting much done. But if I'm watching the news, I don't care much about the news, and if commercials are on, who cares about commercials?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. But I play this game, or if I'm watching cable TV, which I don't like to watch very much. Anytime a commercial comes on, I get up and do something. It's also very healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Every time a commercial comes on, it's all go do some dishes, or go check the laundry, or go run the vacuum for a couple minutes, or whatever. So multitasking can be kind of I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
That's what I do at night.
Not multitasking, but alternating tasks.
When I'm watching Netflix, I'm also playing my phone.
Yeah. So, let's use some cards here. A niche. If you look at A, 8 angles, each measure 180 or less. What did you think for that?
I thought false.
You thought false? Let's Who thinks false? This one's a really tough one. Who thinks true? Who's not quite certain? Yeah, so if a niche, we combine angle 3, so let's count up first. Is angle 1 180 or less?
It's not.
Yeah, so that works. Angle 2 works. 4, 3. These all work, the individual. So we've got 4. Then if I combine these, what would be the angle measure of angle 1 plus 2? 180. So that one would work because it's 180 or less. What would be the combined 3 and 4? What would be the combined 4 and 2? And what would be the combined 2 and 1? How many angles do we have now? 8. This is true. It's true with combined angles.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you go from 3 to 2?
No, because then that would be beyond 180, and we would look at it the other direction. So we try not to, and sometimes we have to, but we try not to talk about angles over 180. Now we will sometimes, but when we're combining angles, we don't normally combine more than 180. Now that would be different than if I said to rotate clockwise and go from looking at that to looking at this. If you're specific what direction you rotate, then you have to go however many degrees that direction. I can't go counterclockwise if I've been told to go clockwise, or vice versa. Because actually proper rotation on the geometry plane is counterclockwise. On the geometry plane, your coordinate plane, rotations go this direction, even though clocks go the other way. Yeah, but we're not there yet. We'll get there. On B, Colin, if angle 4 is acute, 1 is obtuse. What do you think?
That's false.
False. Why do we know that?
Because it's not obtuse. It has to be over 90, but less than 90.
So what is the relationship between angles 1 and 4?
They are both beside each other, and they have the same degrees.
Yeah, they are vertical, so they're going to be the same. Sean, C. False. If 2 is 90, so if this was a right angle, then 3 equals 4. Let me redraw this for a second. If 2, why, Jeremiah, are you making that noise? I just brought this up earlier in class. So let's waste our class time. Why are you making noises in the middle of class? Can you control your body functions? So, do you know that you shouldn't make noises while someone else is talking? Can you act on what you know? Why aren't you? Come on, man. If you don't want to act how you know how to act, go somewhere else. If you have no interest in learning, go somewhere else. If I set this up as my 1, 2, that's 4. This is also what I hate about this image. And this was a right angle. What does that make happen? Yeah, if angle 2 is right, which it doesn't look like it here, but if angle 2 was a right angle, what is like the trickle-down effect? What else has to happen?
I thought you just said
Sam? Everything else has to be right. So, is angle 3 congruent to angle 4 then? Yes. This would be true. D, Mr. Smith, 1 plus 3, so this combined angle is equal to 2 plus 4. Is that true or false? True. Because what would they both equal? Well, they would both equal 180. And Elena, angle 1 plus angle 2 minus angle 3 plus angle 4 equals 0.
True.
Because 1 and 2 are 180. 3 and 4 are 180, and that equals 0. That is true. Any questions? Preguntas? On the next problem? Well, in the example or in the got it? Hey guys, split yourselves up. I'm over this. Is it in the got it or in the example? I'm confused then. I'm not moving on until we figure this out.
I don't have a question on the example, but I did on the data, but I'm just going to wait till you.
Okay. Angle 1 equals angle 3. So it says, which of these following must always, not what could be true, but what has to be true. So please highlight must always. And then I'm actually going to split this up. I'm going to make 2 different sections. I'm going to make blue what always has to be true. Like, does it always have to be true or false? And then I'm going to make red possible. Is it possible to be true? So we're going to make this question actually a 2-parter. So, Julian, does angle 1 have to equal angle 3? No. Because if this was like 30, this could be 60. Or if this was 10, this could be 80. All we know is the whole thing together makes a line. So it doesn't always have to be true. Could it be true?
Yeah.
Yes. What would they be if that was true?
45 to 45.
Yeah, they both have to be 45s because 45 plus 90 plus 45 makes your 180. Very good. In part 2 there, Noah, angle 1 plus angle 3 equals angle 2. Yes, that is true, because all 3 of them together are,
180.
yeah, and what do we call that?
Uh,
If angles combine to make 180.
Supplementary.
Supplementary. Complementary is right angles. And then is it possible? Yes, of course, because it always has to be true. If angle 3 is acute, then angle 1 is obtuse.
How's that work?
So let's play it out. If 3 is acute, choose an angle that would be acute. Give me a measure. 30.
65.
If angle 3 is 30 degrees, what would angle 1 be?
It'd have to be
60 degrees. Is that obtuse?
No.
No! There's no way for 1 or 3 to be obtuse. If angle 2 is a right angle, that's impossible. So, no, it doesn't always happen, and no, it's not even possible. So we have a no yes, a yes yes, and a no no.
No.
So now, this, and man, I forget where it is. When I used to use Pearson, they had like the little info things that I now kind of just tell you guys as stories. But this is a famous...
Riley, to the office, please. Riley.
It is not, and that's not funny. So this is a famous, it's not a crop circle, but it kind of is.
It's an Indian spider.
Yeah, so this was made, and not, so that's what one hypothesis is. Man, I forget what this is called. But, so this is made like in the dirt. It's in some other country, but this is an aerial shot from like way far up. This is huge. So there's hypothesis, it's an ant. So if you see the thorax, like the butt, which an ant's butt tastes like lemon. If you ever get in a survival situation and have to eat ants. Ants are really high in protein. Yeah. Yes, they're acidic. I've eaten them. I'm an Eagle Scout. Hi, hello. I've eaten frog legs too for survival situations. This is huge. So one hypothesis is aliens. Now, here, like, I don't care what your beliefs are. That, like, you can believe whatever you want to, but that's one hypothesis, is aliens created this. Another one is it was an old Indian mound that they used for some, like, religious or ceremonial purposes, different things like this. But we can draw some lines across the image, and a lot of times we've got, like, latitude and longitude lines. These are not those. Obviously, they're at weird angles. But there's only one angle that is completely given to me here. I want you guys to take a few minutes and try to solve everything possible up here. So you want to try to solve for x. Try to solve for y. Try, well, this y, it's going to be the same. So once you solve for y, check, is it right? And then solve for 1 and 2 if possible. And angle 3. So I would work with partners if I was you. We want to try to solve every single unknown part of this. If you're stuck, ask somebody close to you how they're getting started.
How do you get inside?
I mean, it could be. I don't know if it's standard.
So that.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, by the way, guys, I have colored pencils in a coffee mug up here.
Oh yeah.
I've got colored pencils, pens, and highlighters.
You added it?
I did, but I'm going to try to get it like a big bottle. I don't like the smell of it, though, so I normally keep it at my door.
I know the sad story, but he was great. There's this kid named Dan. Yeah. What he decided to do was he chugged a bottle of hand sanitizer.
What if you flip it?
No, he was in the hospital.
Probably threw up, yeah. And it has, like, alcohol in it, so that's one concern, but it's also really bad. Like, it's not something that should be ingested. It can be ingested, but it shouldn't be. It smells terrible, too. I don't like it at all. Go wash your hands. Like, that's my solution. I don't do hand sanitizer.
Mr. Hudson?
Yeah.
What is this?
Which this?
These y plus.
So that's the quantity. So guys, this angle right here is 3y plus 20. So that big angle right there is 3y plus 20. I'll give you guys one more minute. Okay.
So we need to solve for 1, 2, and 3.
We need to solve for 1, 2, 3, x and y. But to solve for 1 and 2, you're going to need x and y. If you haven't paid attention to it yet, 1 and 2 are equal.
Got it.
Bam, bam.
I think I got it. So plus 86 equals 80. So that would be 9. So this is 6. It's 45.
All right, now I'm going to bring us back together for a second because I'm hearing a couple things that scare me. Acadia, where are you starting?
We started at 80 at the x minus 8.
Sure. So this x minus 8 and this 86, what do we know about them? They are equal to each other. So if you want to show that, you can do like one tick on each of them. So that x minus 8 equals 86. And then what'd you do?
But you would add 8 to get to the x.
Add 8 to both sides, and x equals 94 degrees. Sorry, for a second I thought we were adding 6 instead of 8. Now that I know my x, I can bring that up here and make that 94 degrees. So Sam, where do I go from there?
You can figure out 1 and 2 by, because 1 and 2 are equal. So you can figure out 1 and 2 by dividing 94 by 2.
So I'm actually just going to say that like this angle, I'm going to call it z, and that angle I'm going to call z because they're both the same. So 2 times angle z equals 94, and just like you said, if I cut it in half,
47.
have some patience here. 47 degrees. And make sure you have the size of the angle symbol. Or you can use measure of angle if you like that better. So either the angle with the slash or the measure of the angle. So then, Ashley, where do we go from there? So over here, we've got 2y compared to the right angle. So what'd you do with that? And y is 45. If I plug that in here, what's 3 times 45, then plus 20?
155.
So, well, what's 3 times 45 first? 135 plus the 20 equals 155. Ellie, what does that let me do? Yeah, if this is 155, how does 3 have a relationship with 155? They are... Is my car parked over there? Over there. Supplementary. Remember, supplements to get bigger. Supplementary angles. So they'd have to add up to 180, which tells me angle 3 has to be
20.
I'm talking with Ellie. Do you see that? Do you hear that? Can you self-control? Okay, let's work on that.
Angle 3 equals
25 degrees. You guys are all awesome. I love all of you. But we gotta adjust a few of these small behaviors before you get to high school because they become bigger issues. And you gotta have respect for your peers. whether it's making noise while someone's talking, whether it's stealing the answer from somebody, that you gotta respect your peers. Flip to the back, please.
Oh, thanks for asking.
Yeah, we did 1, 2, 3, X, and Y.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Ant government is watching us.
The ant government is watching us.
I mean, it makes sense. There are ants
So,
everywhere.
if, let's start filling, hey, we have at max 10 minutes left, but like we normally do, I'd like to release you early if possible. So let's roll. Let's fill in everything this, in the following tells me. So on the image, fill in the pieces that you've been given. So angle 1 is 46. I'm going to notate 46 degrees over here. Angle 3 is 2x plus 6y. I'm going to notate, or sorry, not 6y, but just plus 6. And 4 is x plus 8, or y plus 8. My apologies. Apparently I'm having issues speaking today.
How come you're the only one without a door?
Goldring doesn't have a door either, neither does Pettigrew.
Well,
Yeah.
why
So,
don't you guys have doors?
that is an off-topic question that does not need answered right now. What can I figure out based off of this Dom?
Me? Oh, yeah, me. Okay.
Or, I mean, we're getting to the end of the stack. If you haven't been called, it's probably going to happen.
I have been called.
I've talked to you outside of calling on you, though. And actually, you're the next card.
Oh, I am?
Probability would state that if you have yet to be called, your probability is very high. Dom,
Yes, sir.
give me one thing we can figure out.
One thing we can figure out. Okay. Angle 1 and angle 3 are equal. No. Or not. Or
You're making a very common mistake. Angle 1 uses this line and this line. What other angle uses those two lines? What other angle uses yellow-green?
Yellow, green, 6. I don't know.
6 only uses green. Dude, look up here. I've got yellow-green. I've got yellow-green.
Oh, 4.
So why? I would think that you see it, but if not, I'm going to do a song and dance up here. Y plus 8 is equal to 46 is what that tells me. 1 is vertical with 4. So now if I subtract 8 from both sides, I'm going to get that y is equal to 38 degrees. All right, so that's one thing. Check that off. I might as well, especially since we're having issues, color code this other line as well. Ozzy, what else can I do?
You can do y plus 8. Oh, we did? Well, I'm in my
I told you were getting called next. What do you know over there with this little box?
Oh, wait a minute. You can do 6.
How? How do 1 and 6 relate with each other? Use that vocab. They are... No, not 1 and 6. They're beside each other. And they make a right angle. What's it called when two angles combine to make a right angle? They're complementary. So how big does 6 have to be?
It would have to be
44. Which then tells me 2x plus 6 equals 44. Whitney, what do I do to start solving that?
Take 6 and subtract it from 44.
Subtract 6 from both sides.
And then divide 38 by 2.
24, 38.
And x equals 19, which actually, I don't need this degrees. I can't go back and erase it because it's too close to other things. But you don't need that degree symbol because your degree symbol is involved right here. So your x already has a degree symbol on it, just involved over here. Preguntas. I want you to try this next one on your own because it's kind of tricky, but it's going to be on the mastery, a problem very similar to this. all you have to do is look at it the right way. But some people like are blind to seeing what is actually going on here.
Why does the, like, I have no idea. Why does the font look so much?
There's 2 C's.
I snapshotted this from somewhere else.
Oh. It's very blurry on the paper.
I know, because I snapshotted from somewhere else.
Why are there 2 of them? What?
Oops. Maybe it was like G. Maybe one of them was a G.
No,
If you think about
Oh, I know what it is.
If you think about it right, it's not that. It's not that.
Mr. Hone, have you figured this out?
I'm not ready. I got it. I got it.
Ellie beat you to it.
Yo, okay.
Ellie, what's the trick here?
The trick here is to realize that there are 2 C's, and they both are 80 degrees. And as you can see, C plus B is 180. Add or subtract 160 minus 20, you get negative 20, or you can do it the other way around.
So B has to be.
has to be 20.
You have to identify that there are intentionally 2 of the same marked size angles. Nothing over here has anything to do with anything. Because you're only looking at C, C, and B adding up to 180.
Why do they do that?
Hmm?
Why do they do that? Why do they do that for puzzles?
Because it's good. Like, puzzling you is how you learn. Anytime you learn anything, there's a point of not understanding before there's a point of understanding.
What is that little upside down like here?
Give you a minute. I want to see who can solve this. Upside down what? Oh, this means perpendicular, or they mean right angles. So they meet at a right angle here and a right angle here, and these are a right angle together. Stop it. Just knock that off right now. No High School Musical. And you're not in high school.
Middle school music.
20 seconds.
I'm already completely.
10 seconds.
Don't say words. Don't even English.
Words.
Friday. No, say English. Just say
So, does anybody? Jeremiah, we'll come back
I
to
didn't
you.
actually figure it out, but I realized that every single side is 90 degrees. Wait, no, you already said that.
Okay.
So that would mean that 4x plus 6 is plus 6x plus 4 is equivalent to 90 degrees. And I'm not sure what that does, but I think it does something if I were to dig deeper.
So you get 10x plus 10. If you combine these two angles, 6x plus 4x gives me 10x. 4 plus 6 gives me 10 equals 90. So then 10x has to equal 80, and x would equal 8.
I keep messing up my notes because when you said X actually.
If you can exit quietly, we can review this on Monday or Tuesday if we want. Quietly exit out to the locker bay. Get past Pettigrew's room before you make any noise, please. What's up?